America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
And thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Invent America. And we are brought to you by King Productions and our fearless leader, Michael King, who has been doing this for 30 years. So thanks to you, Michael, for allowing us to have this hour. This segment of this hour is brought to you by TrueView. It is the only real-time viewing of something coming up in your blind spot on your vehicle. And I am not kidding, it's true. All right, no pun intended. TrueView is the only 3D actual time to save your life. Something doesn't scare you anymore, shows you really where it's at and when it's going to be coming out of your blind spot. You can get yours at cargocatch.com. I have one. It has made a huge difference in my safety feelings when I am out on a highway. So TrueView at cargocatch.com. My guest right now is Mike Ryan with Pronto Launch. You know, for inventors, that big dark pit of money zappers is marketing. You know, you can tee everything up. You can put a budget together for the patent and the manufacturing and everything. And no kidding, they are expensive. But the one unknown, the horrible thing out there that inventors don't see coming at them is that black pit of money called marketing. And so, everybody seems to think that just going social media is the answer to all of their issues. And social media is only a simple tool. It is not the be all and end all. So, Mike, thanks so much for being with us. Tell everybody a little bit about Pronto Launch. What is Pronto Launch?
Thank you for having me. Pronto Launch essentially is a company that helps inventors from different stages of their progress, from starting the company to existing companies, to companies that are in that $1 to $2 million range that can't get over the hump. A lot of inventors that get started don't know how to sell, market, ship, and warehouse it. Social media happens to be one outlet that people can lean to because they not aware if there's other options out there. And unfortunately, they find out real quick. It quickly turns into a money pit. And we've had clients that actually have recently told me they did $1 million in sales, and half that money went towards paying for social media. And when everything's said and done, they're turning around and they're looking for investors because they ran out of money. It's a major problem in the industry.
It really is. I mean, we used to always assume that, all right, so you have to have a TV advertisement, a magazine advertisement, you've got to have something. And yes, marketing is the big challenge. We used to call it mount marketing because you just never knew when you're going to finally make it to the top. But social media is a tool, and it's not something you want to ignore, but it is simply a tool.
Yeah, social media it's important. It's almost like it's like the pretty little bus. I make it like the bus look nice and pretty, but someone has to drive it. And then the problem is that after they see the bus so long, social media, after you see the same customers over and over again, you run out of viewers. And then all of a sudden, people are saying, "Oh, why did the numbers go down?" Well, because after the retention, and whenever we have clients that actually has 2 million followers. After the 5th, 6th time they run it, all of a sudden the numbers go down because after they see it for the 5th or 6th time, the sales start coming down. So what they have to do is they have to turn around and spend more money and other advertising on it just to kind of get the sales going. And so what they found out is that although social media is important initially, for it to be the only option, most companies cannot survive long term. I believe it's less than 1% of the companies out there in the market right now that can depend on social media only.
Well, and I think some of it is what are you trying to sell? Are you just engaging in an opinion? Are you looking at a service thing that you've got going where you can do some educational stuff, or is it a product? Because you're right, people want to engage in something, they keep engaging in it. But if you've got a product, once all those people on social media bought it, now what?
Yeah, it's social media. It's a great tool. We love it, but it should not be part of a person's. It's almost like a supporting system, not the core of the business.
So what is the option?
There's so many different ways of going about it, but at the end of the day, that's why Pronto Launch is existing. There's so many companies out there right now that focus on marketing, focus on social media. They may have retail outlets. Pronto Launch essentially is creating an avenue where we utilize those services by all means, but at the end of the day is that a lot of investors only have X amount of dollars. They may spend $50,000, $100,000, and before you know it, they run out of money. So what Pronto Launch allows people to do is that we can help sell it, market, ship it, warehouse it, process the orders. If they need funding, if they need investments, we could take care of everything from A to Z. The other factor is that people regarding social media, they'll sit there and generate X amount of dollars. And the next thing you know, they're selling 5,000, 10,000 of certain items and then not realize that there's so many other aspects part of that. And so how do you handle the fulfillment? How do you handle the growth? How do you handle the management, the administration, the manufacturing? There's so many other factors go along. It just snowballs. And that's where Pronto Launch comes in. And essentially, we almost like consider us a business partner.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk to an inventor and we say, all right, you've got to be focused on the multiple of 5. So if you've got a product that is going to be a $10 retail product, you can't make it a $15 retail product because the consumer is God when it comes to paying for a product. So if the consumer says, no, this is the sweet spot for this type of product, it's $10, the inventor has got to be able to make it, manufacture it, make it, package it, ship it for $2. The store that's reselling it paid $5 for the $10 product. They're selling at $10, because they do wholesale. Then a distributor sold it to the store, all right, for $2.50. They're making some money. So when you look at the fact that you've got to be able to make it, package it, ship it for $2, and you've earned then 50 cents per unit, and you've got to do all your marketing on 50 cents per unit. Most inventors, that's a deal breaker. They can't do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, what happened was that, 15, 20 years ago, people heard, back into 2005, 2008, 2010, social media then is totally different than now. It's two different worlds. Now, all of a sudden, and you couple that in, social media factored in with marketing companies. I just had, last week, had dinner with 2 female entrepreneurs. They were paying an enormous amount of money. Someone charged them social media, and then they were charging them for the marketing / social media / website. After speaking with her, I kid you not, within 24 hours, she canceled with them and went with us because social media, so all these companies, they utilize these social media companies from the standpoint of is that they'll go pay someone, someone in the social media field. They pay per clicks, and we don't do that. When we work with social media companies, Pronto Launch has never paid one company 1 cent for any clicks. We have such a large social media following, so we have multiple videos that we've done in the market. We've gotten over 10 million views, and we not pay them 1 click. We work out a special deal with them where they get a commission on each one that's sold. That's it.
Yeah.
So the more we sell, the more we all make, we all win.
It really makes a difference. And for some inventors, that eye-to-eye contact is everything that they need to be able to do. They really have to be able to get to, the people who are going to be selling their products, and the retailers for those products. And where, pandemic mode turned everything into virtual. The one thing that we did learn from pandemic is that virtual does not replace eye-to-eye contact.
Yeah, it's going to be more challenging. I think that's where a lot of marketing companies are struggling. How they did things 15, 20 years ago, it's not working now.
No, it's kind of like crowdfunding. It became very predatory. In the beginning, it was great, but it became very predatory. And I think that social media marketing has become very predatory against the inventor.
Yeah, and it comes out to essentially at the end of the day, people just need to start looking into for companies that actually can do just not just one dimensional. If you just don't want one dimensional marketing companies, one dimensional social media companies, because when you get into those areas, at the end of the day, it's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not. So everybody stick with us. We are going to take a quick break, go and pay some bills. And our big thanks goes out to King Productions for making this possible and let you know what is the new product coming to you. We'll be right back with our inventor, Wendy Short. She's going to be talking about Float No More.
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to share with you some of the other inventors that are getting out there, their products, where to go to find them, and oh, how cool they are. Everybody, if you have got a hot tub in your backyard, you need to have a Float No More. I have one, and honestly, when I was on vacation and I was floating in the hot tub, I'm thinking, why do they not rent the Float No Mores here? Because it doesn't do me any good to get into a hot tub if I have to fight to stay in place. So we're going to be here with Wendy Short. She's going to talk about Float No More. Wendy, thanks so much for being with us today. And tell everybody, why is Float No More an absolute must if you've got a hot tub?
Thank you so much, Rita. I'm glad to be here. I've had this idea for over a decade. I've always braced myself or tighten my muscles in order to stay, fully seated in a hot tub, like you just said. I virtually couldn't even use a lounger without floating away, seriously. So this was a solution to my own problem. But every time I used it around others, they wanted to use mine. And I'd say, no, like you can use it, but give it back to me. So I invented Float No More. It's a patent pending and innovative weight belt that anchors its users in place in a hot tub. So it allows them to have a more enjoyable and relaxing experience in their hot tub. It's basically just a hot tub accessory that keeps us relaxing and perfectly anchored in our hot tubs and not floating away from our jets.
Well, you know what? It's hard to get into a hot tub and relax if you're constantly fighting the water to stay in a seated position.
Yes, I've always struggled in deep seats, indefinitely loungers. So with my product, you don't have to anchor yourself. You don't have to sit on your legs. You don't have to push against another seat, put your arms over the top of the rim. You know how that is. So
I do, because I've done all of them. Yeah. And
exactly.
So, when we were talking last time, I'm thinking, why do these high-end resorts not rent a Float No More?
It would be a perfect it would be a perfect place to put some. And so thank you for the extra input.
You're welcome. All right. So where does somebody go to buy one?
Glad you asked. Easiest place is my website at www.floatnomore.com. So you can't get confused. It's a pretty easy website, and they're listed on there, along with the extra weights. Some people actually are buying a Float No More, which comes with 2 weights, but some people need more than 2. So my Float No More will actually hold 4 weights. So you can buy extra weights also.
You brought up something that's really funny, because, there are some people say, well, that was never a problem with me. I have no idea why some people float and some don't.
I think a lot of it has to do with your muscle mass. Each body composition is different. I've had people in my hot tub that don't float no more. Don't float no more. I'm so used to saying float no more. I'm so sorry. I do know English. Float anymore. But a lot of people do. So I think it just has to do with maybe your mass, your body mass with your muscles.
Well, I know that, for therapy, a lot of people, they'll sit in a hot tub and, they're saying, oh, soak in the hot tub and relax. You can't relax if you're fighting the water, and Float No More helps you to relax. And that's wonderful as well.
Yes, it is. It is.
So
I'm glad you like it.
Well, I do love it. And so today we're talking about, social media marketing, and how social media marketing can just be a black money suck, a big black hole. What have you done to get the word out there besides being on the radio?
I have used social media in the way that I've had someone help me develop advertising on Instagram. I've also been on a lot of TikToks that are routinely just placed into people's feed, also with Instagram. I've been to your ASD in the past. That was in the beginning. That was very helpful to get a lot of input on my prototype. I was at the prototype start, so it was nice to just get face to face with someone so they could see it, and then I could ask them, how would you like this? Do you like the colors? What's wrong with it? What would you change? And you can get a host of information from people like that.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about, that market research, and it's so much less expensive to go to ASD Market Week with us as part of the team and learn. I mean, I remember when you first said, I really don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do. And it's like, well, stand here, ask these questions and say these things. So you learned really quick, and it was like, holy cow, now I need to hurry and get some made.
Yes, definitely. And now I have a host of them made. And this year, I think I'm going to start going to spa shows. I live near Austin, Texas, and there's several of them a year, and it's time, because every time I show it to somebody, they buy it. Like, and so it's ready. It's
Well,
really ready.
I was gonna ask you is that, do you notice more feedback when you're actually showing it that you can account for as opposed to the social media marketing?
Yes, honestly, when someone sees my product eye to eye, you know, um, everything changes. Like social media can be like you said, a big black money pit, impressions, clicks, algorithms, all that kind of stuff. But there's no real connection a lot of times. So at a show, it's different. It's personal. Like when somebody sees Float No More in person, and this can be like at a show like yourself or at a spa show or even a retail store when I show that they immediately understand the problem it solves. They can touch it, they can feel the weight, they see the quality. And the best part is I believe they can visualize themselves relaxing in their hot tub, or if they're retailers, their customers' hot tubs, using this solution. So no more floating, no more fighting the jets. So it truly does answer their problems. They get to really ask real questions and get real answers right on the spot that social media just doesn't provide. So I
Yeah.
think, oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say, it makes so much more sense when they actually touch it, feel it, see it, and could then anticipate how it's going to work rather than it's like, well, I sit in a hot tub. I don't need this. They really don't get it. But for anybody out there who is tired of standing on your tippy toes and holding yourself in place when you are sitting in a spa or a hot tub, Float No More at floatnomore.com. That is where you go to be able to relax. Wendy, thank you so much for being with us today. We are going to go and pay some bills, everybody. Stick with us. We're going to be right back with another inventor who also has a very cool product. So stay with us. We'll be right back. If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org. And welcome to Invent America, because America invents. We have been doing that for, hundreds of years, and we will continue to bring the consumer better products. So Alex Shane invented Faucet Pal, and it is a very cool way of controlling the amount of water that is coming out of the faucet. Alex, thanks so much for being with us. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what is Faucet Pal? And I don't mean Powell, Pal, Faucet Pal.
Yes. Well,
Be my pal.
it's a water dispensing device that is retrofit to your existing faucet, just by simply removing the existing aerator and screwing on a device. It does pretty much what the electronic ones do in the restaurants or hotel, except this is manual. It'll cost fraction of the cost, doesn't require professional installation, and doesn't require electricity, and it's retrofit to your existing faucet.
So it's a way to, all right, people turn on the faucet. They're brushing their teeth. They're doing this, that, or the other thing. But if they're not paying attention to how much water is coming out of that faucet, they can waste a ton of water, correct?
Uh, that's exactly right. That's how the idea came from me being on a boat and living on a boat for a while. So you only have as much water as what's in the tank, so you have to conserve every drop.
There you go. All right. So it's, I was wondering how you managed to, you had to be accountable somewhere. And so now you just connected the dots. It's like, and you're right, when you're living in an RV or you're living on a boat and you've got limited amounts, you pay a lot more attention. Well, you know what? You got to pay attention to what we're using every day as well, whether it's, in your sink, brushing the teeth, the kids playing with the water. Oh my God, my daughter goes into the bathroom and there's water everywhere because the kids were playing with it. If you're not actually touching the faucet now, there's no water coming out of it, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. It makes it hygienic, makes it easy. Well, it works all the way around. Yes, it's great for small children who can't reach the valves. They operate them. For people with arthritis, people with Alzheimer. I was told if people with Alzheimer, they'll open the water and leave it and walk away, and they get flooded. So it eliminates all of these problems.
All right. So where have you been selling?
Where we've been selling, let's see, so far, been in QVC.
Good for you.
we were approached by QVC during the show with you, actually, in Las Vegas. And we were selling on QVC. We had basically mostly on a website.
Right. You have a website, and then you had the help of QVC because they put it out there. And so, people go in and they know to go and look for it. What we're talking about today is how hard marketing is. And that there's nothing better. It's a little bit different when you're on QVC. People are able to see it. They're able to use it, see how it's used, which is a lot different than just hearing about it on social media.
No, absolutely. You really have to see it in action to really appreciate it. By describing the product, people have their own imagination. They just can't see it.
And that's the way it is with so many products. If you explain it with words, it's not like being there in person. If you'd have just called up QVC and said, "Oh, gee, I've got this product that does this thing," they would have said, "Yeah, call us back at a trade show." But when they're walking by and they're seeing you, meeting you, eye-to-eye contact, seeing the product, using the product, it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
So what's next? What are you trying to get to, Alex?
Well, I have really, as a designer, you're never satisfied. So you always want to make improvements, especially if you're being a perfectionist.
There you go.
Yeah, I've redesigned the unit to simplify it, eliminated quite a few parts out of it. And so now I'll be able to cover the whole house, which will include like a pull-out faucets in the kitchen that don't have the aerator, where you can install retrofit the unit, or in the shower. So basically you can cover the whole house.
Well, I find that fascinating because early on, it was a specific faucet that you were replacing. And now, like you said, that goal to be able to fit anything in a house makes a huge difference.
It'll be 100%. So you can only imagine the water savings and the accessibility.
Well, and where we live, we're on a well. Now we've got all the traditional faucets in the house, but we're on a well. And you know what? During the hurricane, you don't leave faucets running when you're on a well because, any time of year, that well can go dry. We've had multiple people out here in the mountains, had they been using Faucet Pal over a period of years, their well would not have run dry so quickly.
No, absolutely. And like I said, when you add the shower and your kitchen faucet, uh, the savings will just multiply. Just like you said, the Faucet Pal, the existing now Faucet Pal, is only fits basically your bathroom faucet. But when you cover the whole house, it will totally multiply.
So how close are you getting to market with the new model?
Well, need to finalize the design. Design is pretty close. There's very little. It's going to be mostly manufacturing.
All right. And so you're kind of in a holding fashion right now with Faucet Pal and looking at being able to get out there then with the new model, what, in the next 6 months?
That would be the goal, yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Definitely.
So then, how are you going to tell everybody? It's like you can't raise your hand in a classroom and say, okay, it's ready now. What are you going to do, Alex?
Well, actually, right now we think about partnering up with Pronto Lunch, with Michael, and get some help in that department.
Excellent. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, Mike and I have talked about this multiple times. You get things teed up and get out there, and the big challenge is then how do you spread the word, especially for a product that could impact millions of people, not just in this country, but nationally and internationally. We're looking at millions of people who are really wasting water, which is water's replacing oil. It's the new go-to. It's the gold measure.
Well, speaking of that, we were approached probably with parties from around the world, pretty much, that were interested in the product, except not being the businessman, just a designer. I guess didn't go that far. I mean, we were approached basically by people from Middle East, from Africa, all over Europe, South America. Everybody wanted the unit. So
good for you. Well, and that just makes it more exciting then to get the new version out there and into everyone's hands, and then having the help of business people and marketing people to do it and make sure that you're protected. So we want to wish you all the encouragement in the world in getting through these next steps, and I want to thank you so much for being with us today. We will keep everybody informed how things are going and where to go to get Faucet Pal when that Generation 2 is available to everyone. So stick with me, everybody. We are going to be right back with our industry expert, Mike Ryan, and talk about how we get the products out there to you.
It's
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. And my industry expert for this segment is Mike Ryan. He's been on with us earlier. Mike is the expert on helping inventors get from I have an idea to the marketplace and helping them get teed up, because so many inventors will hit a threshold and they need help getting to that next step. So Mike, thanks for being with us. What advice do you have out there for our listeners on social media and what to be careful of and how to use it to the best benefit?
Well, thank you for having me. Pronto Lots essentially, as you Google, and unfortunately, 97% of the businesses out there failed. lack of knowledge, understanding, monies, focusing on one area like social media, marketing, and so forth. And it's been going on for a long time. And I was very passionate about it, how many products that existed out on the market that could have made a difference for all of us. And what I wanted to do was develop a company that just simply does not exist at this point. We took care of focused a lot of areas where people fell short, and develop a prompt to launch into a company that's going to solve a lot of needs. What we do essentially is that whether a company needs help with selling, and marketing, shipping, and warehousing, processing the order, if they need funding, we have two divisions. One is an acquisition side, one is an advisory side. If they lack the funding or business acumen, then we can take care of them on the acquisition side, where they get a tremendous royalty greater than a traditional licensing deal. If they have the funding, they can approach us from the standpoint of is that we're the business partner. A lot of people that start, even the companies that do start well, and they make $100,000, $1 million, whatever it may be, don't lack the experience to take it to another level. So whether a company is starting new, whether they do $100,000, $1 million, 5 million, Prompt to Launch can help them in every step of the way.
I think one of the big things that most inventors don't understand is that, they go out there and say, oh, I'm going to do social media marketing, build a website, put it on Amazon, da 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 da. And what they don't realize is that they hit a threshold and they don't have the ability to do the leveraging. They can't get it to the next level because they don't really even know what the next level is. They know that products are out there that are earning millions of dollars, but they don't really know that, getting it into Walmart, that's a consignment shop. They don't buy anything. They pay you after it's sold, which means 120 days out. Well, they also know that, they could sell $50,000 worth of inventory and send you an invoice instead of a check because the barcode was in the wrong spot. Inventors need someone who understands leveraging and how to do it.
Yeah. In addition to help scaling companies, what kind of sets us apart from a lot of companies out there is we've been doing this for a long time, and our ability to not only scale companies, but our industry leading contacts, whether it's in the farming industry, boating industry, truck industry, pretty much you name the industry, we have major companies that we have. At the end of the day, you can have the world's greatest product, but if you don't have the contacts, if you don't have the ability to scale that product, it's a challenge. And unfortunately, what happens is that companies they start doing well, and all of a sudden they realize, oh, I can't take it to another level, and they prematurely have to sell a company, or worse yet, they go out of business. Prompt to Launch eliminates that issue for them.
Well, I think one of the big things that a lot of inventors don't realize is they'll go out there with a very cool product, and they don't realize that that one step at a time process really can put them at odds with a bigger company that wants to knock them off, and then they don't have the ability to fight it, and so then they lose everything because they didn't have the leverage. And I know that the gentleman Josh Malone, who did Bunch of Balloons, that's exactly what he ran into, except for the fact that he had licensed it to someone that did have leverage, and that company fought the infringement, won the infringement, and Bunch of Balloons is still being sold, and it is still owned by the inventor and the company that licensed it instead of the company that knocked it off. And we had a company that got knocked off a product that Danco had licensed and put into all the Home Depots and Lowe's, and Walmart knocked it off. Danco was the deep pockets. They took the big stick and, whacked him over the head. And now Danco was placing product in Walmart, but Walmart was no longer able to knock it off. So you've got to have somebody that's got some leverage and knows what they're doing. Otherwise, you can be victimized real quick.
Yeah, a lot of companies, they lack capital, they lack distribution, they lack just the leverage itself. And if you're not, you got to be able to scale quickly, because unfortunately you're always susceptible to the knockoffs. Companies Prompt to Launch is not a one light on company. When we talk to companies, we talk to them 5 or 6 different products. Now our positioning, we can compete against the big boy companies, and if someone tries knocking us off, then we deal with it appropriately.
And that's what a lot of inventors miss out on, is that they don't realize that there are predators everywhere. It doesn't matter whether the predators are in, the social media arena, and there's certainly a lot of predators there, or they're just waiting and watching for products to come on the market that they feel like they can cut.
Right.
And so it makes a big difference. So if you are out there and you have got a product and you would like to sell it, show it, get feedback, join us at ASD Market Week. It is a face-to-face, shake the hands, see the gleam in someone's eye when they look at your product and understand what it is. But they can also give you some really dynamic feedback on, what about this? And did you think about this? Cannot tell you how often somebody goes back to their patent attorney and said, make these changes really quick because somebody else gave me some really good information. So if you're out there and you've got an idea, get in touch right away. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.